now have new in-hand pics of Legacy's Nova Prime. Does he live up to expectations? And which Ultra Magnus is right for you? We're going to talk about all that and the latest news right now on Transformers Talk Raw. So it's been a real long week, guys. Sorry about the delay in the uploads, but we're going to get a segment out every week. You have my word on that. Thank you, guys, for coming in and listening to the Transformers Talk Raw podcast here on YouTube and Spotify. If you haven't heard, you can click all those great links in the description below. It's going to take you to all kinds of cool stuff, including our Facebook group, where you can come share your own channels, pages, chat bots with us, do whatever you like. We'd be real glad to see you guys there. You can also support the podcast via Patreon. And we have a new patron, actually, and we have a big thanks to give to Optination Review and his great channel. Check him out, guys, if you haven't already. He's a great guy. He puts out good content. Please check him out, and we do thank him so much for helping support the channel, and that his support is going to go to upgrading our equipment and getting us more review figures. I know it's been thin pickings lately. I think it was early last month before we had a last giveaway, and that was for a Rise of the Beast Voyager Optimus, but we will have another giveaway real soon, guys, so hang in there, and if you choose to support the channel, we sure appreciate it. But anyhow, guys, on to the subject of the day. It's which Ultra Magnus is right for you. Now, everybody and their mama, of course, has been talking about the upcoming Studio Series Commander Class, Studio Series 86 Commander Class, Ultra Magnus. And I'm impressed with him too, guys. Don't think that I'm hating on Ultra Magnus, the Commander Class Magnus or anything. I'm not. I'm very impressed with him. I was under the impression that we didn't really need him because we recently got a couple very good Ultra Magnuses in the main line. And before that even, we got the Commander Wars version, which was fantastic. It was more IDW styled, but it was a fantastic version that also didn't feature that white Optimus Prime that I hear a lot of people recently complaining about. And, you know, I don't mince words here, guys. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but at the same time, I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's butt. All these people who are saying, well, I don't like it because it has the white Optimus Prime in it. That was never a part of the cartoon. That was never a part of the 86 movie or anything like that. Well, you got to keep in mind something. If you don't like that aspect of a white Optimus Prime being a part of Ultra Magnus, essentially that core figure having armor, you don't have to display him that way. And you can't tell. I mean, with the G1, you'd have to be looking at him from behind to even tell. With the Siege, you can't really tell unless you're looking at the inner part of the legs. You can't tell with the Commander Wars at all. So I don't understand that argument. You know, that you hate that inner white Optimus Prime. That's a traditional Ultra Magnus toy thing. So, you know, and in some comics that's featured. But I don't think that's a very good argument. And I've heard a lot of people put up that argument. But let's break it down, guys. Let's break it down like this. The Commander Wars one. It was a great figure, more IDW stylized. You can still find one relatively on the cheaper side. And I think he's a fantastic figure. And I still have mine. People raved about this figure years ago. But it is older, and I agree. We can probably move past it now since he's a little bit out of scale. So I see that argument. Now, when you get to the Siege, it's almost the same argument, except this one's pretty recent. I think it's 2019, and Kingdom was 2020. A great figure, but again, you have that Cybertronian mode. So the question really comes down to which one is better for your collection, the Kingdom or the new Commander Class Legacy one. And, you know, in terms of screen accuracy, sure, the Commander Class Legacy one is probably a little more screen accurate. I don't think he's leaps and bounds more screen accurate. The Kingdom one had a great head sculpt. He looked just like Ultra Magnus to me. I mean, with his armor on and in truck mode, it looked fine to me. And the biggest thing about that one is, because there's pros and cons to them both, guys, and you're deluding yourself if you're saying that there's not. You're not going to be paying $80, or probably more like $100 after all said and done, for the Kingdom version. You're going to be paying about, at the most, half of that. So you got to consider price too. Availability, too. How many guys had problems getting a hold to Commander Class Motormaster? How many guys? I mean, there was lots of reports of people not being able to find certain Commander Class figures. So I hope you guys are factoring that into your, what you're saying too. But that's just my thoughts on this. And for me, if you're just a stickler for the most screen accuracy, the most recent figures, which that's a legit argument if you just like the newest versions of the characters. But I just don't agree with the guys that so quickly jumped the bandwagon. And they were on the previous figures bandwagon. And I'll give you examples. It goes back to that old Warbot Defender, that third-party Springer, many years ago, and I mean almost 2 decades ago. So many people swore that was the greatest Springer figure ever. And I said, it's not going to be, guys. Hasbro's going to be coming out with another one real soon. A year later, we got the Generations Thrilling 30 Nick Roach style Last Stand of the Record Springer. Everybody swore by that. Everybody said that was the greatest Siege or Springer ever. And then as soon as we got Siege, that figure was nothing. They dropped that figure like a bad habit. And of course, when the next one, and they did the same thing with Beachcomber. And I don't agree with the Beachcomber either, by the way, which the new one's probably a great figure. But again, to me, it really wasn't needed. The previous one was fine, and that's why I've stuck with the previous one. I could have easily gotten the new one. I don't want the new one. And the same argument goes with the Cosmos. The previous one was fine to me. I'm happy with mine. I've given away the new Cosmos, the Legacy Cosmos, a couple of them. I'm not about it. But again, if it's for you and you like it and you think it's a definite upgrade, go ahead. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying that there are people out there that just, and it's fine if you admit that, but don't act like that's not the reason, that you just have to have the newest figure and you just want it because it's the newest and you just think it's the best because it's the newest. Because that's not the case. You just want the newest. I mean, I don't know. I hope you guys are trying or understand what I'm trying to say. But anyway, guys, on to the news. And this week we have the Legacy G2 Universe Grimlock up on Pulse for sale right now. And this one, guys, I know a lot of people like this one. They've been showing off this figure, this bright lemon-flavored Grimlock. I just think it's so ugly. And to me, it's not even the G2 version. I know it's supposed to be based on some unreleased prototype of a Grimlock, but the G2 Grimlock was blue. Or silver, but it was blue. So shouldn't he be blue? And they may be making one in the future that's more in line with what G2 actually released. But this one, they can't call it G2 Universe if it never hit the store shelves in that color. And it didn't. I was there. I lived through entire G2. I watched everything as they first hit the pegs. I owned the G2 Grimlock as a kid. This is not the G2 Grimlock. But if you like it, you like that color, go for it. I mean, for me, no way. It's just very ugly. But anyhow, moving on. 3-0 has shown off their prototype images of the Rise of the Beast Mirage and Scourge. And these guys look actually pretty good, especially the Scourge. And of course, 3-0 doesn't transform. But these guys are going to be up for pre-order real soon. They do look great, guys. And if you're interested in 3-0's figures, do check those out. Or if you like Rise of the Beast, do check them out. I know a lot of people are fans of the Scourge there. Well, we also have in-hand pics of the Legacy Evolution Nova Prime. And it looks to me like they used, and it's pretty obvious, that they used the Siege Ultra Magnus as a base for this figure. And that we're just, it's basically an inner white Optimus Prime that's been retooled with Nova Prime armor. And there's nothing wrong with that. It actually looks really good. My only gripe about this figure is the guns look kind of hollow. But I guess that's more of a design choice that they're going with in general nowadays. Not a big fan of that, but it does look really good, the figure. We have a lot of pics of this. I know a lot of folks are excited for this. I'm not too familiar with the character. I know he's one of those early primes. I know that he was featured in the comics, the IDW books and stuff like that. But, I'm more of a Sunbow Marvel guy. But, I mean, he does look really good again. So if you're interested in him, I'm sure we're going to be getting him real soon. Also, guys, I wanted to show something that my local Walmart, basically do a new little section about what my local Walmart has on clearance. And right now, we have about 6 of the core class Legacy Iguanuses on clearance right now at my local Walmart. Of course, it's a figure I detested, but they're like $8 each. And I thought that was real interesting. You know, they are not being sold over here. But I know a lot of you guys like that, and keep an eye out on those clearance sections if you're interested in acquiring another one or getting one to begin with. But I'd like to thank everybody who commented last week and let me know their thoughts on the subject of third parties. And we had a lot of great insights, great thoughts. Didn't agree with all of them. I was going to go into it right now, but maybe I'll save it for another week. But I'd like to thank you guys for listening again so much. Check us out next week. Be sure to hit that like button and sub if you're inclined. God bless you guys, and to all are one. This podcast is made possible thanks to the support of great people like you. Thank you.